Hey, this is Takia, owner and founder of Marital Lore, a skincare brand where healthy skin is a lifestyle. So you've done all of the things. You've set up your booth. You've implemented all of the strategies in part one and part two. Now you have a steady flow of traffic in your booth. You're converting those people into customers. You're providing a beautiful customer experience. Now you've made it to part three where you're going to know how to dominate these events, even if there are similar vendors at this event. You're going to learn how to dominate these events. You're going to learn how to stay authentic and true to your why. It doesn't matter who else is selling the same thing. And you're going to also learn how to dominate the event where you're one of one. So let's go.
Number 8, network. Make vendor friends because that can go a long way. You could be put onto so many opportunities just by networking with your fellow vendors. I've learned about so many events through other vendors. They look out for me, I look out for them. So yeah, definitely take the time to network because we all have connections. We all have networks that both parties can benefit from. So why not build that community? As they say, community over competition. Like, why not build those connections? Because you just never know who they are connecting to, and they just never know who you're connected to. So just build those genuine connections with the fellow vendors. Exchange information. Follow each other on social media or exchange business cards. Just any way that y'all can quickly keep in touch. Me and many vendors, we mainly talk through Instagram DM. Hey girl, what you doing? Like, okay, did you hear about this event? Or I just saw this event, or I just saw this business tip, check it out. Or have you participated in this event before? You got any insights or whatever? Do you know the event coordinator? So just different ways y'all can help each other. Go ahead and network. It doesn't hurt anything. And if y'all just follow each other and leave it at that, then so be it. But it doesn't hurt to make connections because you just never know where that can take you and your business and vice versa. Collaborate if y'all can. If y'all have products or businesses that kind of align with each other, but not really. So for example, as a skincare business, I can partner with one of my candle business friends. I can collaborate. We could do a little bundle. We can run a summer special. We could do a little self-care. Like, it's so many ways that y'all can collaborate because then y'all are tapping into each other's communities and cross-selling, and that could build sales for both of y'all and reach and growth for both of y'all. So network and collaborate with your fellow vendors and avoid gossip. I know there are events that cause for frustration because they're not going as well as they could have been, or you don't think that the event coordinator did X, Y, and Z to make the event successful. Don't go around to every vendor gossiping about you. Now, if a fellow vendor comes to you and they ask your thoughts about whatever it is with the event or event coordinator, I would say be honest, but don't go into too much detail because you just never know how that vendor will use that against you. You don't know if the vendor is going to go to another vendor's tent or booth and start spreading rumors that you talking about the event coordinator and they shouldn't allow you at another event. You just don't know what can happen. As my parents always say, you don't want to get credit for something you didn't say or do. So if a vendor is coming to you about some gossip, keep it short. Even with the vendors you can trust, don't get into too much gossip and be negative because that's only going to dampen your energy and, in a sense, make you not as successful because that could potentially burn a bridge if you're going around and gossiping. Or don't gossip about your fellow vendors. Again, be honest about your experience if you want to share the information, but if not, always redirect the conversation to some positive. Like if they're talking about the event coordinator or the event, like, yeah, you're right, but the other events have been successful. So I think it was just this particular type of event or where the event was, or I don't think the crowd was in a buying spirit this event, but it'll be better next time. Like always redirect it to something positive versus just constantly engaging for the gossip. Because what you will notice if you are engaging in the gossip every single time this a vendor or the same vendor brings it to you, that's all they're going to come to you about. They ain't gonna come to you about no opportunities, no events, no collaborations, no networking, no conferences, no way that you can build your business. It's always going to be about it's also always going to be about some BS. Always going to be about some gossip. So please avoid it if you can. And if you are a gossiper, bite your tongue. Gossip with somebody else. Gossip with your husband or your boyfriend or one of your friends once you leave the event. Don't gossip with other vendors. Number 9, follow up after the event. The event was successful. You've engaged a lot of people. You've met a lot of people. You had a lot of people scan the QR codes and now they're following you on Instagram. Engage with them on social media. So moving forward, you can comment on their posts. You can send them discounts from time to time. If they haven't sent you any feedback or a testimonial, you can follow up with them like, hey, what do you think of, how's your experience going with X, Y, and Z oil? Or if you remember like different parts of y'all conversations, I know that you said that you have a rough patch on this leg. How's the body butter? How's the rough patch doing? Did the body butter soften that up? Are you seeing any changes? Like there's different ways you can engage with them. Again, you could ask them for feedback. You could set discount codes, or you could just genuinely love the outfit that they posted and you wanted to comment. Like it doesn't always have to be surrounding the products because at the end of the day, we are a brand and we have a business, but we're humans at the end of the day. So our conversations and interactions don't always have to be about business. And along the same lines of engaging the people that you've met, make sure you are collecting those emails. Collect those emails, build your email list, and nurture that email list. So send weekly emails or emails twice a week. Always be in their face, always be on their mind. Even if they don't see you on social media, they can see an email that you've sent. Nurture those relationships because those will eventually turn into repeat customers, and those repeat customers are going to talk about your business via social media or to family and friends. So now the word of mouth is out there and now you get new customers and new opportunities. So follow up after the event, make it intentional and nurture those relationships. Number 10 are just additional tips because the first 2 are pet peeves. Because the point of you being at the event is to make money. If you are genuinely passionate about the product or service that you're offering and selling, you're at the event to, of course, make money, build that brand reach and awareness. So some of the events that you participate in are upwards of $100+. Why are you at the event on your phone all day? If you don't want to make no money, at least break even. At least make what you've paid for the event. There are so many vendors that literally sit there on their phone the whole time. I don't know what's on their phone that's that interesting, but they sit on their phone the whole time. Then at the end of the event, they don't make any money. Now they mad at everybody else but themselves. But you sat there the whole time and didn't engage anybody. And when people came in your tent, you didn't even give them the time of day. There have been so many vendors I've seen that I kind of looked like, why are you here then? Like there have been vendors that have people come to their table, like the table display is nice, and they're sitting there on their phone, okay, whatever. But a customer comes to their table inside of the tent and they don't speak. And that's the least you could do. They don't speak. They just look up and look back at their phone, or they'll be like, if they do speak, hey, we have X, Y, and Z. These are the prices. Let me know if you have any questions or want to buy anything. What? What? I just don't get it. I don't get it. Or there have been times that the customer comes in the tent and they're asking them questions. Now the vendors acting like they have an attitude. Like you are at the event trying to sell and the customer is trying to support you. Why are you acting like they're getting on your nerves? Ain't nothing that interested in the phone to not make no money. That's crazy. Or a customer has asked, hey, what's the price of this? And the vendor just pointed at the sign and went back to the phone. I'm like, you ain't about to give it to me like this. You playing right. You ain't gonna say nothing to the customer. That's crazy. Like the customer is in a tent for a reason. And many people who come to these events, they want to support you. They find joy in just being out and about and finding new funky things that they can tell their friends about, or they can post on their social media about, or just something that makes them feel good. And they come in your tent wanting to support and you're blowing them off. Like, nobody about to beg you to take their money. A lot of these people come to the events, they know they're not supposed to be shopping, and they are down to their last $100, $200. And they come to your tent and your table just to buy something to make them feel good, and they'll figure out the rest later as far as the money. And you're acting like that, they're just going to go to the next table and buy something. So now you've missed out on money. Again, if I was about to beg you, like, I know you're not paying me any mind and you're blowing me off and I'm asking you questions and you're acting like you don't want to answer, but please take my $50. I really want this candle. I want this candle. They're going to be like, all right, the candle smell good. The vessel is bomb. It looked nice. It looked real good on my mantelpiece, or it looked real good on my nightstand, but no, I'm okay. I'm going to go ahead to the next tent who will value my presence and appreciate my support. And also what I've noticed, then I'm going to move on, that, okay, a customer suffered through all of that and they still want to support. That's fine. But the vendor who was acting a fool during the transaction, oh, now you want to perk up. Now you want to have a personality. Now you want to act like you appreciate the customer. I didn't like seeing that either, because I'm like, that is so wrong. That is so fake. Why would you do that? You acted like this customer was not worth your time engaging. But as soon as you see some money about to be spent, oh, now you, hey, how you doing? Yeah, because, that's my favorite fragrance. And like a lot of customers say that they like this vessel because it sparkle a little bit. And it, like, don't try to engage them and talk about your products now when you have the opportunity to, just because they're spending money. Like, that's fake. That's wrong. Don't do that to the customers. That's not nice. Don't take someone else's sale. I've seen situations where, because some events, they don't spread out like vendors very well. So it was a situation where it was a skincare vendor here. They're like 2 to 3 tents down. It was another skincare vendor. But the skincare vendor that was down this way saw a customer stop at this skincare vendor. And this vendor came out and started promoting their products. Like, hey, you want a sample of this body butter? Come to my tent, free smells, come on in. Why are you trying to distract people that are at other skincare tents to come to your tent? Just wait, because there are customers that shop at multiple skincare tents. So just wait your turn. And if they pass you by, then another customer is probably going to stop in. Like, don't try to take someone's sales. Then they went as far as getting closer to where this customer was at this tent, promoting the samples and things. So I'm like, and I'm across the way, but I'm just looking like, why would you do that? Why are you doing that? That's not cool. Or there have been situations where customers will go to another like vendor's tent, and that vendor is throwing shade at the tent they just left. Like, yeah, I know you just tried They Body Butters, but They Body Butters ain't even all that. Like, I heard They Body Butters greasy. They don't use the best ingredients, and their fragrances, they don't smell that good. I heard that people could barely smell the fragrance in their body butters or in their products. Why you not throw shade? If your products are that, if they are quality, they will speak for themselves. You don't have to throw shade. Even if a customer is coming to your table and they talking a little mess about another vendor, do not engage. There have been plenty of times that people have come to my booth or my tent, dropping a little shade about another skincare vendor that they've left. And I literally just sit there like, oh, okay. Or I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, well, here are my butters. They do X, Y, and Z. You can smell the fragrances and let me know if you want to try a tester. I'm not about to engage in that gossip, because that customer is probably messy and will go back to the vendor that they just dropped shade about and say, girl, don't you know that's Kid Mary Laura said X, Y, and Z? You ain't about to have my name in no mess. My name and my brand in no mess. So yeah, beware of that as well. And I've had a personal situation where at this event, they put me and another skincare vendor side by side. Okay, cool, whatever. It is what it is. Like I said, my products, packaging, everything speaks for themselves. And if a customer, if they're interested, they're going to come. But it was a situation where this said customer, they left, I guess, to make their rounds, then came back and like, hey, I want to get I think she wanted to get a scrub or something. Or scrub or came back for whatever products. And I was working with another customer, checking them out. So, I let them like, hey, thank you so much for coming back. Would you mind holding on a second while I check them out? And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm patiently waiting. I love whatever product she used. She said, oh, yeah, I love that product. And she stood at the edge of my table. So I'm checking another customer out. And in my peripheral, I see and hear the vendor next to me, and they literally went like this. Okay. So the customer at the end of the table, they're right here. This is what they were trying to do to take my sale. They literally ducked because you wrong. So that's why you ducked. So what they ducked and they were like, tried to whisper, but I heard you. It's like, and I also saw the other vendor kind of tap the lady's shoulder who was standing at the edge of my table waiting on me to check out another customer. So I saw them go, hey, I got this. You want to smell this butter? You come over here and try this butter or try whatever product. I heard them saying you could smell it and you could try it. Like, I got this, you could try. And it took everything in me not to knock all this shit over. Like, it took everything in me not to say anything because I'm like, I'm not about to act a fool in front of the customers, but you got me effed up. Why would you do that? I wouldn't. I would not, because you're not supposed to ever say never. But I won't. No vendor has to worry about me doing that to them. I don't care if we're side by side on one end of the event. You don't have to worry about me trying to come and take your sale. That is like one of the most disrespectful things that you can do to a vendor, especially if they are a like vendor or they sell the same products as you. Because what's for you will come to you. It will happen. You don't have to take other people's sales or be shady towards a like vendor. But on the inside, I was upset because I was like, how dare you? Is it that serious? Like, you never know. The lady could have purchased what she was going to purchase at my table, then come to your table. Or you so worried about what I got going on over here that you probably missing customers that's coming from that direction that are interested in your products. Like, why would you do that? Like, I about not they whole display over. Like, go and flip it table. Like in that Medea movie when she was hungry and flipping tables. Like, I was that close to doing that because like I say, it's disrespectful. Why would you try to take my sale? Then, while the person is, in a sense, right next to me, you tapping her elbow, you lifting the product damn near towards her nose, talking about smell it and try it. And shout out to this customer, and she's a repeat customer. She said, oh, no, thank you. I'm going to wait on her. She's almost done. I just came back for X, Y, and Z items. And the person next to me was like, oh, okay. And kind of laughed. Yeah. Now you feel stupid because why would you even do that? Moving on, because I got on my soapbox a little bit about the first two. But next one, don't leave early. Even if the event is not going well or going slow, you never know because there are surges during events and it could be slow for the majority of the event. Pick up the last couple hours and now you've made 10 times your booth, the last couple hours of the event, which didn't seem as promising in the beginning. So don't leave early. You just never know how sales are going to pick up. And also, don't mess up your chances to be able to come back to events because that can come off as disrespect to the event coordinator and would cause them to not accept you to another one of their events if you apply again, or talk about what you did with other event coordinators around the city. And now they have your name and your brand on their list of do not accept because one event coordinator said, no, they leave early. They come late and they leave early and they don't tell us that they're leaving. And even though we put in our policies or whatever not to leave early, they did it anyway. So you don't want to ever mess up your chances of not being able to participate again. And the last additional tip is be honest about inventory. So I've been at an event at a farmer's market where a vendor will have all this stuff on the table of what they're selling. And when the customer asks them if they can buy the said product that she let them try a test or a sample of, she then turned around and said, oh, so I really don't have this fragrance or this product, but if you text me or if you email me, we can meet up and I can get it to you. And this vendor kept doing that throughout the time we were at the market. And I'm like, that's very dishonest, because why would you even put it on the table if you don't have it? I see as if in the beginning of the event or the market, you had it, then you ran out, but you still have it on the table either by accident or you still want to promote that fragrance, that's different. But if you don't have it in general, and that wasn't the only product that that vendor was doing that with, it was multiple products that they were doing that with. And this vendor was the type that sold some of everything. So whatever somebody wanted, because it was skincare, incense, bases, whatever they put on that table. And it seemed like whatever that a customer wanted, it wasn't there. So I'm like, why would you even come to the event if you don't have the inventory to sell? And that can turn customers off, because when you do come to the event with the inventory to sell, they're probably going to remember like, no, it's no reason to go to that table because she ain't gonna have it. It's displayed nicely, but they're not gonna have it. So be honest about your inventory. Or if you are planning to meet up with a customer to bring them said fragrance or item that you ran out of, be honest about the expectations of when they're going to receive it, especially if they paid for it at the event and they're waiting on you to bring it to them. Just overall, all around, overall, be honest about your products, about your offerings, and about your boundaries. But yeah, those are the 10 tips that will allow you to be successful at events. And if you follow these event etiquette tips at events, I'm sure you will be successful at events. And if you have any additional tips, drop them in the comments. You can help other small businesses and vendors. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and share. And until next time, talk to y'all later.